Shalom, shalom, shalom. We give our honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, right? This brother Yahweh with the servants, back at another video, right? And happy feast dedication to those people that's observing it, right? And so today we get into 2nd Maccabees chapter 3, right? Angels smote a man, right? So we're going to go into an account, right? What the angels, they beat down this man, right? For the Israelites, right? And we're going to get into it, right? So let's go to, let me get right there. Let me present my screen. There we go. So let's get into this thing, right? So we're going to get into it. It says this 2nd Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 1. Now when the holy city was inhabited with all peace and the laws were kept very well because of the godliness of Onias, the high priest, and his hatred of wickedness. So we had a high priest, right? His name was Onias, right? And he hated wickedness, right? And that's how a mighty man should be, right? Let me get a precept. Let me get a precept real fast. Get a precept, man, because that's how a righteous man is supposed to be. A righteous man supposed to hate evil, right? He's supposed to hate evil as a righteous man. Let me get this precept in Proverbs 8 and verse 13. Proverbs 8 and 13. Proverbs 8 and 13. Book of Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 13 says, "The fear of the Lord is to hate evil." So a man that fears the Lord, he's going to hate evil, right? So the priest Onias, he feared the Lord, right? And he hated evil, right? So let's go back to where we was at. Just want to bring that out, that precept out, right? And it came to pass that even the kings themselves did honor the place and magnify the temple with which their best gifts, insomuch that Seleucus of Asia of his own revenues bear all the cost belonging to the service of the sacrifice. Now let's go into this so we can see who these people was, right? Onias, Onias was an Israelite. We know that he was a Levite, right? So we're gonna go to Seleucus. Seleucus of Asia. So it says there was Seleucus, he conquered the conqueror of Asia, right? So this Seleucus, right? Seleucus Nicator, right? Seleucus Nicator, right? So this was here, it says Seleucus the Victorious, right? Was a Macedonian Greek general, right? Officer and successor of Alexander the Great. So this one of these guys was one of the he was one of the guys that was a part of the Diadochi, right? Which is one of the four generals, right? That came after Alexander the Freak had died. He had four generals, right? And so he was one of those four generals. So let's keep going. So it says, who went on to found the eponymous Seleucid Empire, led by the Seleucid dynasty, initially a secondary player in the power struggles following Alexander's death. Seleucus rose to become the total ruler of Asia Minor, Syria, Mesopotamia, and the Iranian plateau, right? Assuming the title of Balisus, king. The Seleucid Empire was one of the major powers of the Hellenistic world until it was overcome by the Roman Republic and the Parthian Empire in the late second and I want to say the Seleucid Empire lasted up to, like you said, into the Parthian the Roman Republic and the Parthian Empire, right? And I went into that last video that I had made. Let me see. Let me find this. See if I can find a battle right? That basically took down the Seleucid Empire when they had fought um the I think I forgot the name. That's that fast. Oh yeah, the Parthian Empire. Seleucid, Seleucid versus Parthian. Yeah, there we go. All right. So it's the Seleucid-Parthian Wars were a series of conflicts between Seleucid Empire and the Parthian Empire, which resulted with the ultimate expulsion of the Seleucids from the Iranian plateau and the surrounding regions. The wars were caused by mass migration of the nomadic Iranian Parni tribe into Parthia and the establishment of the Parthian state, which challenged Seleucid hegemony. Right. So oh my gosh, I was showing it. I'm showing it now. Right, so I want to see if we can just get to the last battle, the rise and end of the Seleucid Empire. Right, that's what I'm gonna go ahead and jump down to. It says Seleucid power began to weaken after the defeat of Antiochus or Antiochus the third at the hands of the Romans at the Battle of Magnesia, right, which effectively broke Seleucid power, in particular the Seleucid army. After this defeat, Antiochus began an expedition into Iran, but was killed in Elymais, right, and the Arsacids then took power in Parthia and declared their full independence from the Seleucid Empire in the 148 BC. And the Parthian king Mithridates, right, invaded Media, which was already revolt against Seleucid Empire, right? So that's just a little history on, not go too deep, but that's a little history on the who was in rulership during that time, right? It was the Seleucid Empire, and then we know that after that the Seleucid Empire fell to the Parthian Empire, right? So just a little backdrop on history on that, right? So let's go back. Slovakia. But anyways, so we're going to be reading on. It says, but once Simon, the tribe of Benjamin, who was made governor of the temple, fell out with the high priest about disorder in the city, right? And when he could not overcome Onias, he got him Apollonius, right, the son of Thracias, who was the governor of Syria and Phoenix, right? Let's look him up real fast. Apollonius, right? Let's look him up real fast. Right, Apollonius. Wait, hold on. Apollonius of. I'm just gonna copy paste of Thraces. Of Thraces. I think I spelled that right. All right, he ruled over Syria. All right, it says, let's see what we got here. Nah, this is not. It's not what I don't think this is what I wanted to look into, what I wanted to get. But he ruled over on Syria. I want to get some more information on that, but this is not popping up like I wanted to. So we just gonna continue on with our reading then. All right. So it says, and told him that and told him that the treasury in Jerusalem was full of infinite sums of money, so that the multitude of their riches, which did not pertain to the account of the sacrifices, was innumerable, and that it was possible to bring all into the king's hand. Now, when Apollonius came to the king, right? So Apollonius, he was like a second man to the king. He had showed him of the money that whereof he was told, and the king chose out Heliodorus, his treasurer, and sent him with the commandment to bring him the aforesaid money, right? And it's like if I misspoke. I meant to say Apollonius, he was a governor of Syria, not the king, but he was a governor of Syria, right, in Phoenix, right? So that's what he was. He was a governor at this time. So you had kings, then you had governors, right? He was a governor, right? So it says, now when Apollonius came to the king and showed him of the money whereof he was told, the king chose out Heliodorus, his treasurer, and sent him with the commandment to bring him the aforesaid money. So forthwith Heliodorus took his journey, right, under a color of visiting the cities of Syria and Phoenix, but indeed to fulfill the king's purpose. And that's just like these devils, man, right? They always have a ultimatum, right? It tells you never trust thy enemies, right? They look like they one way, but they really another way, right? It says, and when he was come to Jerusalem, he had been courteously and received the high priest of the city, and told him what intelligence was given of the money, and declared wherefore it came, and asked if these things were so indeed. It said he came courteously, right? And that made me think of this precept right quick. Let me get this precept. All right. That made me think of this precept right quick. In the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. It says, these words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but in his heart, his words were, but war was in his heart. Salakia. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were soft than oil, yet were there drawn swords. Right? And that's how he came. Right? He came courteous, talking all nice. Oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then he get straight to the money. Right? Now when let's go back to reading. Now when Apollonius came to the king, Salakia, I'm jumping down. I'm back. Right, and when he was, we have verse 9. And he was come to Jerusalem and had been courteously received of the high priest of the city, he told him what intelligence was given of the money, and declared wherefore he came, and asked of these things were so indeed. Then the high priest told him that there was such money laid up for the release of widows and fatherless, right? Because as an Israelite custom, it was our custom to care for the widows and the fatherless, right? The father's children. And that's what they was doing. They was moving in the spirit of righteousness, right? So he's letting them know, like, hey, man, this money for the widows and the fatherless, right? And that sum of it belonged to Hyrcanus, son of Tobias, a man of great dignity, and not of that wicked Simon had misinformed, right? Because you had wicked Israelites that was hating on other Israelites, and that Simon, right? He was an Israelite, but he was hating on Onias, right? The sum whereof in all was 400 talents of silver, and 200 of gold. Let me see if we can look into Hyrcanus, son of Tobias. Hyrcanus, son of Tobias. See if they got him in her. Nah, they ain't got him. That's all good. It's all good. We gonna keep on with our reading, right? So it says, and it was great. It was altogether impossible that such wrongs should be done unto them that had committed into the holiness of the place, and the majesty and the inviolable sanctity of the temple honored over all the world. But Heliodorus, because of the king's commandment given him, said that in any wise it must be brought into the king's treasury. So the priest then came and told her, hey man, this is for this is for the widow and the fatherless. But you know, these heathen, they don't give a damn by our law. They don't care. They don't care that we have a standards, that we have honor and morals that we have to uphold, right? Our law that we have to uphold. They don't care, right? So this heathen, he didn't care. He said, man, it got to get brought to the king. So at that day which he had appointed, he entered into the order of this matter. Wherefore there was no small agony throughout the city, right? But the priests prostrating themselves before the altar in their priest vestments called unto heaven upon him that made a law concerning things to be to have to he so like that he made a law concerning things given to he kept, that they should safely be preserved, for such had committed them to be kept, right? And so when you look at this, it said he called upon heaven. Did not Lord say, call upon me in a day of trouble? Right? Let's get that real fast. So we're gonna see these, and this is what the priest did, right? Psalms 50 and 15. It says, and call upon me in a day of trouble, I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. So Lord say, call upon me, right, in a day of trouble, right? And that's what the priest did, right? He called upon the Lord in a day of trouble, right? And I'm gonna get another precept, right? Let me look for it real fast. Bear with me. Bear with me. I want to get this precept. Nah, I can't find it what I was looking for. Right, so we just gonna keep on reading. Right. So it says, then whoso had looked the high priest in the face, it would have wounded his heart. I was like, then so who had looked a high priest in the face, it would have wounded his heart, for his countenance and the changing of his color declared the inward agony of his mind. Right. So the priest was losing his mind. He was losing his mind. For the man that was compassed For the man was so compassed with fear and horror of the body that it was manifest to them that looked upon him what sorrow he had now in his heart, right? And this shows you, this man, he wasn't afraid of man, right? He was afraid of the Most High. He was afraid of what he can do, what the Most High could do to him for letting these people take this money, right? Because it's a law that this priest, they're supposed to take care of these things, right? Especially the money that's given for whoever was in charge of, they had to take care of the money that was saved for the widow and the fatherless, right? Dang, that's a precept I want to get. It just went out my mind. But it was dang, let me read back in. It says oh yeah, that's the precept I want to get. Cause see, and that's how we gotta be, man. We gotta be afraid to go off in this thing, right? You got some people, they fear man more than they fear the Lord, right? But this man, he wasn't afraid of Heliodorus. He wasn't afraid of the king. He wasn't afraid of Apollonius. He wasn't afraid of Simon. But when it came to what he had to do for the Most High, he was afraid of that. So this book of Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So this man, he was afraid. He was afraid of the Most High, right? He was afraid of judgment of the Most High, right? Others ran flocking, others ran flocking out of their houses to the general supplication, because the place was like to come to contempt. And the women girt with sackcloth under their breasts abounded in the streets, and the virgins that were kept and ran, some to the gates and some to the walls, and others looked out of the windows, right? And all holding their hands toward heaven made supplication. So they all came together praying into the Lord, right? Psalms 50 and 15 again, right? All these people, everybody is literally calling upon the name of the Lord, because they know this heathen is about to. This heathen is trying to cause them to do a wicked act, right? So they called upon the Lord, right? This is the kind of spirit they was in, though, right? Then it would have pitied a man to see the falling down of a multitude, all sorts, and the fear of the high priest being in such an agony, right? They then called upon the Almighty Lord to keep the things committed of trust safe and sure of those that had committed them, right? So these people, these people put in a trust, like a trust fund. It's like a bank, right? How they had it set up, it was like a bank. So the bank, they in charge of keeping the money. Right, they not like these banks nowadays. These banks nowadays, they let people steal from you. They probably take your money. They might say something missing or this or that. But this how they cared for this money was very serious, because they was in charge of keeping it. So they had to keep their word. They had to keep that oath, because they was committed to keeping those things, right? And that shows integrity, right? These men had integrity, right? They had integrity. Right, they was men, real men, right? A lot of our people lack integrity nowadays, right? It says, nevertheless, Heliodorus executed that which was decreed. So he didn't give a damn. He was like, man, to hell with that, right? And so it says, verse 24. Now, as he was there, present himself with his guard about the treasury, the Lord of spirits. That's Yahushua. And the prince of all power caused a great apparition, right? So that all that presumed to come in with him were astonished at the power of Yahweh, and fainted and was sore afraid. And it's not the first time the Lord did apparitions, right? Let me go to this. Kind of made me think of this right here. In the Wisdom of Solomon. Right. I want to say chapter 18. Let me go to it. Bear with me. Let me make sure this the account that I'm looking for. What is this? Kinda, dang, it's some beautiful. This is a whole beautiful account, but it's not what I'm looking for though. But dang, this joint go crazy too. But now it was it's the account of when the Lord had smote the Egyptians with darkness, right? Damn, it's 5-2 though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think it's 16 though. I wanna say, but That thing what I was just reading was mean too, though. No, it was probably where I was at. It was says, let me read this. It says, for when the righteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they being put, this is other folk, they being put in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bonds of a long night, laid there exiled from the external providence. For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. So the Lord, he did this to the Egyptians. He hit them with strange apparitions. They were seeing stuff. Right? They was going, hey, Lord, the Lord know how to get down. Lord can get down. Right? So the same, just like how he hit the Egyptian with apparition, right? He pulled that move here. Right? It says, for there appeared unto them an horse. We back at the reading. We at 25. For there appeared unto them an horse with a terrible rider upon him, and adorned with a very fair covering. And he ran fiercely. So you gotta imagine this, right? You get a horse come, right? You got this terrible rider, right? It says adorned with fair covering. And he ran fiercely and smote he the adorers with his feet, right? His forefeet. And it seemed that he that sat upon the horse had complete harness of gold, right? Moreover, two other young men appeared before him, notable in strength, excellent in beauty. So he's built up, looking built, right? It said beautiful, right? Comely in apparel, who stood by him on either side and scourged him continually and gave him many sore stripes. So they just beating on this man. So the Lord, oh man, I got it. Man, it's just some. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get this precept. This one precept, right? I'm gonna get that right there. Right. So I'm gonna get Psalm 78 and verse 49. Right. It says, and I love this story. This is one of the beautiful story. It says, he cast upon them the fierceness of anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them. Right. So the Lord, he don't have no problem sending the angels. Right. And he did that. He sent angels to Egypt. Right. He sent angels to these different nations. Right. He even man, hey Lord, get down. And yes, he did the same thing here. He sent angels, right, to beat down this man. Right. It says, and he the doors fell suddenly unto the ground and was compassed with great darkness. But they that were with him took him up and put him in a litter. So that man was messed up, right? He was messed up. Thus, him that lately came with the great train and with all his guard unto the said treasure they carried out, being unable to help himself with his weapons, and manifestly they acknowledged the power of Yahweh. You gotta acknowledge the power of the Most High, right? That's just like let me get this. Let me get this precept. Let me see, because that same thing is let me get this. It's in Ezekiel. I want to say 32. I want to say it's in Ezekiel chapter 36. it's after the matter of fact, it's one after the Gog and Magog. Yeah. I say it's 39. Yeah, this it. Yeah, it's going to the time when we gonna be destroyed, right? It's gonna be the time. Not we gonna be destroyed, but it's gonna be the time we gonna be restored. We gonna be restored. So during the time we gonna be restored, it's a scripture, right? I'm gonna read it out. It says, it's right here. I'm gonna start at Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 27. It says, "When I have brought them again from the people and have gathered them out of their enemies' lands and sanctified in them the sight of many nations," right? Talking about us, "then shall they know that I'm the Lord their God, which caused them to be in." So like, yeah, hold on. Yeah. It says, "Then shall they know that I'm the Lord their God, which caused them to be led in captivity among the heathen, but I have gathered them into their own land and have left them." No, that's not what I'm looking for. But yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. I have to read up. Let's read up in verse 21. It says, I'm start at verse 20. "Thus ye shall be filled at my table with horses and chariots, with mighty men, and with all men of war, saith the Lord God. And I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and at my hand that I have laid upon them." Right? So it says, so the house of Israel shall know that I'm the Lord their God from that day and that day forward. So it says the heathen, right? They're going to see his judgment. They're going to see his judgment that he has executed, just like they did, just like how he did here. In this account here, the heathen, they had the knowledge that there is a God. See, these heathen, they don't believe in the Most High, right? They don't believe in the Most High, right? They atheists, right? Some say there ain't no, you know what I'm saying, God, right? That's why you have all these different theories, the Big Bang theory, the this, the that, trying to basically uh allude to that there is no God, it's just science. So the time is going to come just like then with those heathen had to acknowledge, hey man, this Lord, this the Most High. When all that stuff play out, when the Lord destroy all these nations, and when on that battle, the battle of Armageddon, and all that happened, right? These heathen going to know, right? It is a true God. It is a God, and He's the God of the Israelites, right? So let's go back. It says, "Thus that lately." Yeah. So for let's go to verse 29. "For he by the hand of God was cast down and lay speechless without all hope of life. But they praised the Lord that had miraculously honored his own place for the temple, which a little before was full of fear and trouble. When the Almighty Lord appeared, was filled with joy and gladness." Right? So our people, they were celebrating. "Then straightway, certain of Heliodorus' friends prayed Onias that he would call upon the Most High to grant him." These people, they had to, this is how they had to realize that there was a God, so they had to come tell him, "Hey, pray, hey, it said, pray to your God, right? To grant him his life, who lay ready to give up the ghost." Because this man was about to die, right? This man was about to die, right? Dang, that made me think about this thing. I got this other precept I'm thinking about. Yep. Zechariah 8 and 23. But it made me think about this. Just like how these heathen was praying to a nice, "Hey man, go call upon your God." This is Zechariah chapter 8 and verse 23. Check this out. It says, "Thus says the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all the languages, all the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you." So just like there's gonna be a time where these nations, they gonna be holding on a skirt, right? They gonna need us in the time to come. Not right now, they don't give a damn about the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They don't care about us. They don't care about what we going through. They don't care about us being oppressed, right? But the time is going to come, right, as the Lord destroy this place where we're going to be in rulership and these heathen, they going to become bending knee to us, needing us, because they know they're going to know the Most High is with us, right? So just like that, right, just like in this story, that's how it's going to be. They had, you can imagine, they had to be pleading them. Man, please, please pray. Pray for them. Pray for them, man. Please, call on the Most High. Please. Right? That's how these nations gonna be. They're gonna be pleading. They're gonna be pleading to us. Right? That made me think of this another precept in the book of Isaiah 14. Right? There it is. Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and will set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So these nations gonna be cleaving to us, just like they was cleaving to Onias the high priest, to Heliodorus. Right? So it says, so the high priest, expecting lest the king should misconceive that some treachery had been done to the Heliodorus by the Jews, offered a sacrifice for the health of the man. Now, as the high priest was making an atonement, the same young men, in the same clothing appeared and stood beside Heliodorus, saying, "Give Onias the high priest great thanks, insomuch as for his sake the Lord have granted thee life." So it's for the whole. If it wasn't for Onias, hey man, they would have been out of there. He would have been out of there, right? So it says, and seeing that thou hast been scourged from heaven, declare unto all men the mighty power of Yahweh. And when they had spoken these words, they appeared no more. So just like I was saying in Ezekiel, that the heathen is going to know that the Lord has executed by the judgment that the heathen is going to know about the judgment that the Most High has executed, right? This same thing in this situation here, where you have these angels, let them know, hey, let it be known, right, that you got scores from heaven, right? Send a message. That's what they tell them. I need you to send a message, right? It says, so Heliodorus, after he had offered sacrifices to the Lord and made great vows unto him that had saved his life, and saluted Onias and returned with the host of the king. Now this part goes so crazy. Then testified he to all men the works of the great God, which he had seen with his eyes. Right, so he got the heathen telling him. The heathen tell, hey man, it's tell him of the works of the Most High. How more so us? Right? We should always speak of the words of the Most High. Look what he did. Right? It took him to be scourged up. Right? And that's what the Lord's gonna do to these nations. He's gonna send down some things from heaven again. Right? He's gonna send down nukes. Right? He's gonna send the chariots to send down destruction. Right? And they gonna know then. Right? That just reminds me of the precept in Revelation. Right? When Yahweh shall come back, right? All gonna know. All will know. Right? Let me see this right. This right here. Bear with me. Yeah, right here. This is Revelation 1:7. It says, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kings of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen." Right? So everybody's gonna bear witness to Yahweh Shah, right? Just like how this heathen had to bear witness to the power of the Most High God, right? They gotta bear witness. the nations are going to bear witness, right? So just like they bear witness back then, they're going to bear witness when Yahushua comes. They bear witness now, right? As they seeing the Israelites, not all of them, but some of them bear witness now. Or the Israelites waking up in these days, right? Waking up, letting our people know that we God's chosen people, right? Keeping the commandments, right? Repenting, right? But anyways, it says, and when the king Heliodorus, who might be a fit man, and when the king Heliodorus, who might be a fit man, sent yet once again to Jerusalem, he said, if thou hast an enemy or a traitor, send him thither, and thou shalt receive him well scourged. He said, if you got an enemy, somebody that somebody that you don't like, somebody you don't like, a traitor, he said, send him that way, and thou shalt send him, they receive him well scourged. If he escape with his life, for in that place, no doubt, there is a special power of God. For he that dwelleth in heaven have his eye on that place and defend of it, and he beat up and destroy them that come to hurt it. That's so mean. So the Lord, he going, and that's when we acting right. That's when we living right. That's why I said the Lord is our defense. He is our shield. Man, I'm gonna get some couple precepts, right? How the Lord, he's our defense, right? Let me get a precept on that, on how the Lord is our defense. Then I'm gonna get this one in Judah, man, too. Come on, just bear with me, get this precept. Psalms 91. Go to that, Psalms 91. This Psalms 91 and verse 1. It says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say, the Lord is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust, right? So the Lord is our refuge, right? A refuge is a place where you go to seek refuge, right? A defense, a barrier. So the Lord is our defense, our barrier, our protector, right? But that's when we doing right. That's when we keeping his commandments. That's when we being sincere. That's when we being diligent. If you doing what you gotta do, you got the Most High on your side. If you not doing what you gotta do, you got the Most High against you, right? And you don't want to have the Most High against you, right? So we gotta be doing what we gotta do. And just like how the Lord defended our forefathers then, he can defend you now. He could be that defense for you now, that protection for you now. But you gotta do what's right, right? And be a sincere servant of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Right? Let me get this one in Judah too. Right? Because our enemies, they know what our weakness is. They know what our weakness is. So I'm gonna show y'all. This is how they know. They been knew. They been knew this. They been knew this. I'm gonna show you. We're gonna start at the second. This Judah chapter 5, and I'm gonna start at verse 20. Get straight to the point. Now, therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in his people, and they sin against their God, let us consider this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. See, the heathen, they know that we don't keep these commandments, and we in error with the Most High God, we ain't got no defense. We ain't got no protection. We just out there. We ain't got no refuge. Because we're reading the Psalms, that was David speaking, a righteous man. He understood. But when you not living righteous, you not keeping these commandments, you ain't got no refuge. You ain't got no protection. You're not covered, right? But it says, but if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God before them, and we become reproach before all the world. So it said, if ain't no iniquity in these people, if they keep these commandments, man, you better keep it moving. You better keep it moving, man, because Lord gonna defend them. And it just said right there in 2 Maccabees chapter 3. It says, I'm gonna read that again. It says, For he that dwelleth in heaven hath his eye on that place and defendeth. This one Israel doing right, and beateth and destroyeth them that come to hurt it. Right? And that lets you know how in the kingdom, how we not gonna have to worry about nothing. Cause then that Lord will have that same and grace and mercy upon us, how he had then when he was defending us, right? To where anybody try to bring any problems. But anyway, we're gonna be realistic anyways. But the point is, when you doing right, man, you get the benefits of the Most High. See, back then our people, they was acting right, keeping the commandments, doing what they gotta do. Well, that sect of Israelites, of course, because you did have some wicked Israelites, but you had some righteous Israelites as well. And in that region, that area, they had some right there during that time. They had some righteous Israelites, and the Lord defended them, right? So again, that's just one I want to kind of share that story in Maccabees, right? That was 2 Maccabees chapter 3, right? Lord willing, that was edifying. You know what I'm saying? And again, I encourage brothers to read that on your own. You know what I'm saying? But that was 2 Maccabees chapter 3. Oh well, yeah, that was chapter. I didn't read the last verse, but yeah. So I'm gonna give our honor to see how about Shemel Shah. Lord, that was edifying. Shalom. Kwame Shalom.